ASP Russell joins me on set for another impactful conversation. We are treating with home invasions this morning and just some more tips and ways to not become a soft target. ASP Russell, great to see you. Welcome as always.
Good morning, Mr. Williams. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. On behalf of our Commissioner of Police, Deputy Commissioners, Assistant Commissioners, and First and Second Division Officers of the Trinidad Tobago Police Service. We're having a wonderful day. Yeah, we are, and it's an important conversation. And I want to ask, as we get the ball rolling, at what point could you recall they made that distinction to separate home invasions, put it in its own category? Because, to my understanding, everything would have been more or less under the umbrella of burglary back in the day, and then they would have made out a strategic decision to separate what we now term as a home invasion in its own category. Yes, you see, burglary. And is that difference really? It was burglary have acronym in bed: intent, night, enter, dwelling house of another, etc. So there's an acronym for it. Burglary is only between a particular time, which is, I believe, is 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning. I did it years ago when I was in training. So, you know, so that's what separated time and the burglary. Then there's housebreaking and larceny. But what the home invasion does, it caters for a specific type of behavior. So once you break in the houses, you enter by force, persons there, you threaten them, any form of violence, any form of threat, which usually happens with home invasion. That is where all the specificity come in now with respect to the home invasions. And as we're seeing on screen, I mean, broad daylight, it's very clear. You could tell this is probably middle of the day. Broad daylight, yeah. So this, I guess in the old, before we even had this new category. That would have been housebreaking and larceny. Housebreaking and larceny. Right. Because it would not have the timing within as the night aspect of the burglary. And that's why I guess words like burglar proof. Right. And then you have like because you know you expect a burglar to come in the dead of the night. Well, the Bible said that, right? Yeah. Thief come in the middle of the night to kill, steal, and to destroy. Yeah. But what is particularly concerning for us too is they are not only engaged in home invasion acts, but for the fact what we are seeing now is that they are really preying on the senior citizens, the elderly, and my heart goes out to them. We had the situation in Bagpore recently, and I want to say to Trinidad and Tobago, when we hear of murders, our heart, even though we are not connected to the person, it sinks as well. You know? Many of my officers are walking around with a bit of trauma based on how many scenes they would have gone on and stuff like that. Because we know what is going on within societies, like there's no respect for life. And I'm saying, you know, persons, you don't take granny thing, boy. Why you kill granny, boy? And you know, as you said, what you're saying is so true, because we could all recall, I think in those moments you reflect on your own grandmother, your own grandfather, your own mother, your own father, your uncle, your auntie, and to know that somebody reached to that nice ripe age, they've lived their life, a productive citizen, to meet their demise in such a manner, it is very disheartening. And I would imagine now the onus would be on, I mean, I guess there's some elderly people really probably might not have anyone, but for those who have children around, I think it's important, I would imagine it's important to check in on them. Yeah, and this is where the tips come in, because even though you may not have children, you're living in a community, you're living in a neighborhood. Remember the times, long time, Mr. Williams, when even there was a little drama, children and women were off limits. The elderly, when people playing football in the road and they're using obscene language and they see moms or dads passing, grandpa or uncle, everybody used to stop and just calm down. Remember those days? Those days have since evaporated. They are no more. You know, so we want to ask the community to look into things like neighborhood watch groups, keep the police station number close at hand. We're asking persons to make themselves a hard target by, you know, you must be able to do your own analysis of your premises and see where there's a gap, where a person could come in, make sure your burglar proof is there, make sure you have an emergency exit for your burglar proof. When you're locking up when you're going to bed at night, just take an extra 2 minutes and walk around your house and make sure everything is locked up and secure. Do not leave your spare keys in places that might be predictable. For instance, under the mat. or by the plant pot.
Those are two areas that people always they use. You know, what people don't consider after the home invasion, the trauma that lives with somebody for a long time, that in your own home, any noise, any creak, any breeze that blow, you're almost taken back to that moment. And there is, I believe, there should be some kind of aftercare or after checkup. Do you all do that in the TTPS to just ensure that people...
We have a victim and support unit. It's open to persons who want to access it, haven't been victims of crime. And we also support families who have relatives that were victims of crime as well. And yes, we do check up, but sometimes our resources does not permit us to check up as frequently as we want to. Because Trinidad is a place where, Trinidad Tobago is a place where there's always something happening. Always something happening, always something happening. So you may send out a vehicle on a patrol with the intentions of going and check up. No? But next thing you get a call of an accident or a robbery or a man armed with firearm, of course, you know how to go to something a little more serious. So, you know, sometimes it's not as we want to, but we want, and that's where the community comes in. We want to encourage the community to not set them up.
What's your strategy if there's an uptick in a particular area? If there are, let's say, multiple house break-ins within a short period of time, is there a strategic plan of action to put more patrols to just kind of be in the space in the eventuality of any kind of situation like that?
We believe in intelligence-led policing, looking at the data. So once the data increases and it shows a particular something, like for instance, let me say a while ago we were getting plenty incidents on the corner of Park and Henry, where those three banks, those banks are located there. And, you know, we had to put, because you realize that's a financial street. There's a lot of financial institutions right there, so you tend to find persons who are doing certain things, making snatches and stuff like that. So we started populating that area with police, especially around that month end to pension time. And even when you look a lot at the home invasions of the elderly, is around when they get their pensions. So we are asking the community to throw an extra eye on moms, throw an extra eye on daddy, throw an extra eye on uncle, on auntie. You know, check on them. You have to be that keeper, because we would all get old, God's willing, you know? And we would want to experience that same level of care, looking into an alarm monitoring system with one of those that have a response time. There's few companies offering that now. No free advertisement, so I wouldn't call their names, or persons could do their research. Trimming the areas around your house, the hedges and stuff like that, where persons could use as a hiding spot to attack you in your unguarded moment and force their way into your houses. Now,
this is one where I guess, I know you can't respond to it because it puts us now in a different legal conversation, but for those who protect their home, you defend your home, I know there's always this mention of reasonable force, but you deal with the said perpetrator in a very brutal manner. For the life of me, I don't understand why it is me, as a homeowner now, I have to go face the court and have to almost, you know, try to clear my name, because again, your home, there's no sign outside your home, okay, welcome, you know, all and sundry, and people come in there sometimes to do the most, and in some cases even perpetrate acts of sexual violence. So for those who defend their home in a very brutal manner, is there any understanding in that regard?
Well, Mr. Williams, I'd want to say, you know, once there's loss of life or serious injury as a report of a home invasion, there must be some level of investigation. And what we ask is that your force be proportionate. But once we are satisfied that your actions is as a result of you apprehending immediate fear for violence, of being violence against yourself or another in your household, and you act in a particular way, we understand that.
So the guys, I sure you saw the video, it went viral a couple of weeks ago. They tied the man up like a goner, put him in a wheelbarrow and wheel him to the St. Joseph police station. Is that within the realm of reason?
Well, we would want to always caution persons with their view of vigilante justice.
I mean, they tie him up like a market crab, they put him in a wheelbarrow, they said they had no vehicle, and they wheel him down.
So they were innovative, and they used innovative mean to get the suspect to the station, but it goes further. It's not about just chopping off the suspect, because once you bring him in like that, and he says he has a permit, you have to go and do a medical. A medical would say if he was beaten, if there's blood and force trauma. If he dies within our custody, we are now looking at a different offense. So the persons who bring him in tied up like a market crab, we now have to go back and check footage, interview them to see if they beat him before they brought him.
Well, you have to soften up the perpetrator. They must get a softening, because you can't use words. You can't use words to negotiate in a moment. There needs to be a little massage, a tie-up, and then you take them down.
Well, let me tell you. Well, let me just say it this way: use as much force as is necessary to subdue the perpetrator. I would not come on national television and tell Trinidad and Tobago to soften up anybody. They would not say the PIO Russell say to be them. No. Yeah. I am saying use as much force as is necessary.
Within reason.
And even when you look at the self-defense, and even within the Home Invasion Act, you should take a little browse of it, you would see it also comes back and also use the word proportionate force.
Proportionate.
So if the man is running away from you, he's out, he's about to jump your fence, and you take your license thing and you shoot him in his back, you have some questions to answer.
Yeah.
But if he enters your house with his firearm pointed at you and you're able to reach yours and respond in a particular manner, and as a result of you responding to save your life and that of your family, the victim sustained wounds, and as a result he succumbed to his injury, you're okay.
ASP Russell, to be continued. I want to thank you again. Great conversation, and thanks for the tips. Don't be a soft target and proportion. Reason. Let's get ready for the 7 a.m. news update. Much more on the other side.